What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to From the Bench. I'm your host, Will Meadows, and today is our Friday edition of the show where we have a lot to talk about because basketball season is in full swing, and Tennessee football has a game this weekend against UTEP. You know, not much storylines going on there. Should be a one you win. It's senior night. I guess that's the bigger storyline. The biggest storylines we're going to have is the teams around us and other teams that are going to be playing this weekend that are also in contention for this 12-team playoff race. So we're also going to have a rooting guide, the From the Bench rooting guide for this coming weekend for college football of teams that us Tennessee fans are going to have to cheer for in order to help Tennessee's hopes and to get to the 12-team playoff. So before I get into anything, at first, obviously, right, so far it's been Monday, Wednesday, Friday for our episodes, and that's been fine. It's been great. I've been able to do 3 days a week just fine. We got our Monday show out this past week, and then when it came to do the Wednesday one, I had a game on Tuesday and I had a game on Wednesday for Central Basketball, and I've gone over it and done some thinking, and with basketball season here, the show is going to be moved 2 days a week, and it's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays. As a high school student who is also a high school basketball player, I thought I was going to be able to handle it, and I was like, I'll be tired some nights, but I'll be able to come home and do it. I don't think it's going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. Obviously I'm not bragging or anything, but I'm playing a lot, and it's just a toll on me, and I'm tired when I come home. And I come home, shower, eat, and do some homework, and then it's already 11 o'clock by then. And I'm recording this one at 1 a.m. in the morning. That was my decision because I wanted to be able to get the best episode out for you guys due to, like I said, not being so much storylines around the game for football. Tennessee basketball just played Virginia. At the time of this recording, it just ended 30 minutes ago or so, and they got the big win against Virginia. So we're going to talk about that and who they're going to play tonight. As the time you guys are watching this tonight, they'll be playing Baylor for the championship of the Bahamas Classic or whatever they call it out there. A lot of great teams out there, but yeah. So it's going to change from Tuesday to Friday, and I'll put stuff out on the social media about that. And make sure you guys follow all of our social medias. The handles are listed below. And then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and like this video and leave a comment. There's a lot to talk about. How you feel about the game this weekend. Obviously, again, that's supposed to be one that we should win. But if you watch the Tennessee versus Virginia game, which we'll talk more about for basketball, it was a rough first half. It was a very interesting game, and they ended up winning big. But we'll talk about that after we talk about football. But without further ado, let's get everything started. We're going to start with football. The Vols take on UTEP this weekend in the last home game of the year. It's the 11th game of the year. UTEP's not a very good team, and Tennessee is a very good team. Like I said, we're going to be more of our focus, really, and especially mine, is going to be on teams around us because Tennessee just needs to handle business. I don't think it's going to be a problem against UTEP, but with Vanderbilt next week too, you just got to handle business. I think you got to win big against UTEP, but once it kind of gets to 30 or 40, just take your starters out. No need to get a guy hurt. We all saw how it was in the second to last game of the year or third to last game of the year, whatever it was, when Hooker got hurt against South Carolina. We don't want to have to deal with that, and this team's already been pretty banged up all year, especially on the offensive end, especially in the receiver room. And we all know Nico was a game-time decision last week with Georgia. Just don't want to risk anybody getting hurt, you know what I mean? In my opinion, I know they're not going to stat pad for him, obviously, but I'd love to see Dylan Sampson punch in 3 touchdowns, maybe 2 or 3. I think he's 3 away from tying the record of all-time rushing touchdowns at the University of Tennessee, which is just crazy because I think he's going to come back next year too. So he's not going to have a problem breaking it. I think he's going to break it regardless this year. I think that's right. 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there is how far he is from breaking it. And that record's been here since 1920 or somewhere around there. It's been here for a long, long time. So credit to him. But the rooting guide for college football this weekend is teams that we need to win in order to help our chances against, or to get into the 12-team playoff, saying that we handle business against UTEP and against Vanderbilt. First, obviously, Tennessee over UTEP. That should be one that most people are going to cheer for anyways. Florida versus Ole Miss. I know as a Tennessee fan, rooting for Florida is not really not familiar territory with us, and I don't think it's ever going to happen outside of this week. But Ole Miss is looking hot. It's at Florida, which the Swamp is a great environment. I wish it was like a night game, but it's a noon game over there in Gainesville. So Florida looks good with DJ Lagway, in my opinion. I think he's 2-0 as the starter, and he's really 2-1. But I mean, he got hurt against Georgia, and they were winning when he was playing. So just gotta pray for that one. This one, I've gone back and forth on this one. Right, I have it listed here as Ohio State winning big over Indiana. I still think Ohio State would have to beat Indiana by 40 for them to leave Indiana out. I think even if Indiana loses by 20, they still get in. But I've seen everybody keep saying that, so I'm going to go with that. Ohio State big over Indiana. At first, in my mind, I thought Indiana over Ohio State because I would put Ohio State at 10-2. And yes, I still think they'd get in, even though that resume is still not nice. In my mind, I felt like Ohio State had a better chance to lose in the last week of the year to Michigan, because obviously we know Michigan's not that good, but it's still a big rivalry game, than Indiana did they had a better chance to lose to Michigan in their last game of the year than Indiana had to lose in their last game of the year. If you pick up what I'm laying down, I know that's a lot of when you get into this team loses this week and that, I mean, it gets kind of confusing. So I understand if you didn't. I tried to explain that the best way I could. Minnesota over Penn State. If Penn State loses again, they're out. I mean, Penn State still doesn't have a good win, but they're like the 4th-ranked team in the country right now. So until they lose, they're gonna be in. Army over Notre Dame. If Army wins Boise State is gonna. I think they'll play UNLV in their conference championship, and UNLV is not a bad team. Ashton Genty had his worst game of the year against UNLV, and if Army wins this one, they'll get in my opinion. But Notre Dame is gonna have to beat Army, Army's gonna have to beat Notre Dame if we want to jump Notre Dame. Notre Dame would, in my opinion, definitely should be out after that, especially their loss being horrible to Northern Illinois. And then Oklahoma over Bama. I don't think that one's going to happen, but it is 7:30. It's going to be in Oklahoma, so should be a pretty good environment. I don't know how good it will be because Oklahoma's 5-5, so they don't have a ton going for them, but gotta hope Oklahoma's defense does well and keeps Jalen Milroe from running all over him. But I don't see the one in my mind the few in my mind that are the most likely is Army over Notre Dame. I think that is the most likely. And then I'm gonna go Florida over Ole Miss. Florida has looked good, and you just gotta hope that Ole Miss is hot right now, but hope that they slip up at the wrong time, because one of them losing and us winning out would, I think, all but guarantee us in my opinion. I don't think if none of that happens and then nothing happens while on the last weekend, I don't think we get in. Like if the season ended today, I don't think we get in. But again, not a ton of storylines. This is just a game against UTEP where you recognize your seniors. It's going to be a 1:00 game, so alumni and older people can be there. I know old people have kind of complained about all these night games that we've had because they don't get home till 1 in, midnight. But again, recognize your seniors, go win big, and take care of business, and make sure nobody gets hurt, or pray that nobody gets hurt. But that's really all we have for the football aspect of things. Again, this weekend's going to be more hoping that other people lose instead of us worrying about our game because, again, it's UTEP. But shying away from the football side of things, basketball, I don't know if anybody, like I said, I'm recording this at 1 in the morning. The game started an hour later than they thought it was. This is originally supposed to be a 9:30 tip-off. Ended up being a 10:25 tip-off. The game before it, so if you don't understand why that would happen, it's almost like an AAU or a high school game. They're playing in the Bahamas Classic or something like that. Somewhere it's in the Bahamas, Nassau. I think that's how you say it, Nassau. But the Bahamas, and they're playing it in one gym. So like the game before you determines when you're gonna go or when you're gonna start playing, and you just gotta hope they're on schedule. Well, the game before us in Virginia tonight was St. John's and Baylor. St. John's and Baylor decided to go in a double overtime, and that game took forever. And Baylor won on a crazy game winner that now, if you go look back, they really shouldn't have won because they didn't get it off in time, and it was a whole lot of. The reasoning behind the time is it's not that he let go of it when the clock said 0. St. John's missed 2 free throws, and the time is supposed to start off of contact. Like as soon as somebody touches that ball, it should start. Well, they tipped around the rebound They tipped around the ball on the rebound, and that the clock should have started right off the tip. But it got tipped around a few times and then got into a guard's hand for Baylor, and they started it when it got in his hands and he had full possession of it. That's not when it's supposed to start, but that's what happened. But eventually, Tennessee and Virginia got going. It was like watching paint dry in the first half of that game. It was 22-21 in the first half, and we were playing right into Virginia's hands. Even with Tony Bennett, their Hall of Fame coach, gone, they're a slow-paced, hard-nosed, defensive-minded team, and we were playing right in their hands. We couldn't get it going. Felix Okapara, I mean, don't get me wrong, incredible shot blocker, a lob threat, but not much of a threat to score on the inside at all, or at least get his own. We struggled. It looked like a vintage Rick Barnes coached, a great defensive half of basketball, but you couldn't throw it in the ocean. But all that, we were still up 1. And if you turn it off after the first half, I bet you thought it would be a very boring game. And it kind of did get boring because Tennessee started running away with it, and they outscored Virginia by 21 in the second half, and ended up winning 64-42. And both of our new transfers were incredible this game. Chaz Lanier led the way with 26 points and 4 rebounds, and he was 6 of 12 from three-point range, shooting 50% and hitting 6, tied his career high. And he also passed the 1,000-point threshold in his collegiate basketball career, so congrats to him. And he played great. He was automatic. Rick Barnes has said how he wants him to hunt his shot more, and instead of really letting it come to him. He knows, and really, if you watch him, he's so smooth. How great of a scorer he is, and Rick Barnes challenged him not to wait for his shot to come, but to go hunt his own shot, and he did that tonight. And he set up huge. He scored. He went on like a 13-0 run by himself, or 13-2 run, or something like that. He scored the first 13 points for us in the second half. So he went unconscious for us. Igor Milicic was great. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. We missed a lot of layups. He missed a few layups. Like I said, Felix missed some layups. Cade Phillips missed a wide-open dunk. I mean, we won by 22, and it could have been 35 if we would have made simple layups. Jamai was huge, man. Again, I love watching that man play basketball. It may not, like, he had 7 points and 5 rebounds tonight, but if you watched the game, you would have thought he was the MVP. I mean, MVP, just flying around everywhere. Defensively, he moves faster sliding than he does running up and down. It's incredible to watch his defense on ball. And Zakai's too. Zakai struggled tonight. I think he had 2 points, and it was a layup in the last minute and a half of the game. He struggled to get his, but I mean that happens. And that's where our guys like Chaz step up and played great. We got to see Darlin Stone Dubar make his Vol Hoops debut, and I think he had 5 points. He had a nice putback dunk. It was good to see him going. We didn't have Cam Carr or JP Estrella tonight, so a little short-handed, but the Vols got it done. And they will play Baylor tomorrow night, the 13th ranked team in the country, for the Bahamas Classic or Baha Mar or whatever they call it, championship of that tournament. It's only 4 teams. The 4 teams were, like I said, St. John's, Baylor, and then us in Virginia. So that game's going to be at 9:30 tomorrow on CBS Network, Sports Network. So I'm going to tune in to watch that. I think you guys should too. Baylor's a good basketball team. They started off ranked, I think, 6 or something like that, and they got pounded by Gonzaga last week. But then they had 2 good wins. They beat Arkansas and they beat St. John's. So it's going to be a great game. They've got some talented freshmen. They've got some talented transfers. The guy who hit the game winner was Jeremy Roach, who spent his previous 3 years playing point guard for Duke, and he's over here at Baylor now. And VJ Edgecombe is one of the most exciting freshmen to watch in the country, and Baylor's got him. An incredible athlete, and he can score at all 3 levels. So it should be a great game. I'm excited to watch it. And yes, that's at 9:30 tomorrow, or tonight, 9:30 tonight. But when you guys are going to watch this, it's 9:30 tonight on CBS Sports Network. So I really think you guys should watch that. And this one will for sure put us in the top 10, in my opinion, in the AP poll. So it's a big game. It's the biggest game to date for Tennessee basketball. Our 2 biggest tests so far have been Louisville and Virginia. And, we kind of handled both of them pretty easily. 20-point wins plus for both of them. So it's going to, like I said, definitely our biggest test of the year so far. And we'll have to see how Rick Barnes and company come out to play. But I'm excited for it, and I think you guys should be too. Again, for football, root for the team you should. I'll probably put out a graphic on the Instagram of who we should be cheering for and who not to. And hope that we, again, take care of business at 1 o'clock in Neyland Stadium and honor our seniors and get them some run and, just come out with a win and move to, what is it? We got 9-2. Move to 9-2. But without that being, or with everything, oh my goodness, what a brain fart. With all that being said, sorry about that, it's late. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching. And again, I'll put some more stuff out on the social media about how this is going to be moved to 2 days a week instead of 3, and it's going to be Tuesday and Friday. So our Friday episode will remain the same, but Tuesday is going to be our day where we talk about reaction to games of the weekend, but also what's to come that week. So thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry about missing the episodes on Wednesday and Thursday, but we've got it all figured out now, and we're going to get right back on the horse. But thank you guys for watching, and go Vols.